Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. I wanted to do a quick recap of 2017 with all of the major milestones that Star Citizen and Squadron 42 have reached. By the end of 2017, Star Citizen had reached over 175 million in crowdfunding, and that is about 35 million in that year alone. Let's take a look first at the tangible gameplay releases with 2017's patches. At the end of 2016, Star Citizen 2.6 with the major edition of StarEngine had been released. 2.6.1 went live on February 18th, focusing on quality of life and bug fixes for that 2.6 patch. It also added regional servers for the US, Europe and Australia. There was an updated Super Hornet ship, as well as the first iteration of the Mega Map. This was for hangars and single-player Arena Commander. The Mega Map was the prelude to the Object Container System. It's basically a tiny level that can be loaded in with all the assets necessary to render more easily what's needed on demand, and basically massively reduces loading times. This was a necessary first step in getting Star Citizen entirely seamless, which is what they want eventually. Spectrum, the communication platform, also went live with that 2.6.1 patch. It continues to receive updates and improvements, and is currently across between Reddit and a chat program, but obviously entirely solely focused on Star Citizen. Alpha 2.6.2 was released March 31st, again, mostly focusing on quality of life and bug fixes for 2.6, but also, more importantly, adding the Mega Map to the persistent universe. The Drake Buccaneer fighter also became flyable in the patch. This was closely followed by the release of 2.6.3 on April the 8th, fixing several crashes and hotfixing a load of issues. And then there wasn't any more patches until the release of 3.0 to Eva Carti in early October. This lack of updated gameplay content for 6 months was frustrating for backers and content creators alike. The delay in this was due to a huge amount of important pieces of Star Citizen's development coming together, all of these different mechanics, all of these different systems, the building blocks of the game. Previous patches were much more for testing tech, proof of concept, and getting assets out. 3.0 is the foundation for the rest of the game to be built on, with object container streaming, item system 2.0, a rebuilt Stanton system, though only a quarter of the current system Stanton is available to explore, planetary landings with procedural moons, cargo, expanded missions, a lot more pretty things, new ships and vehicles, the Nox, the Dragonfly, the Ursa rover, the Constellation Aquila, the Prospector, the remade Cutlass Black, as well as a host of updates to other ships, an updated flight model as well, the addition of stamina and the oxygen system, and loads of things to purchase in shops. The 3.0 patch finally went live on the 23rd of December with the Delta Patcher in tow as well. The Delta Patcher allowing us to basically just update the required game files rather than huge inefficient updates. So now an update that could have previously been 5 gigs would now be 200 megs. 3.0 certainly, however, has had some issues, with performance being the major one. It's erratic for players, even with high-end systems, with reports of 5 to 50 frames in similar circumstances. There were some server-side hotfixes deployed on Christmas Day, which did normalise this better, although it's incredibly erratic for different people. There's been improvements to the community and content and shows, though. We've had the addition of This Week in Star Citizen posts, which highlights content CIG are releasing during the week and looks at some cool stuff in the community. We also have Citizens of the Stars 2, which is like that as a weekly community show. And there's regular town halls and game dev happy hours, typically once a month, looking at specific gameplay mechanics or how tools are used to build an aspect of the game, concepting space worlds, building a basketball minigame, or making a solar system. There's also now newsletters for Squadron 42, Concierge and subscribers, with some informational tidbits released every so often, and concepts. Throughout the year were various ships that went on concept sale, with the chronological order being the Hurricane, the 2-man turret-centric heavy fighter, the Banu Defender, which is an escort fighter, the Aegis Eclipse stealth bomber, the Nox fast space bike, the Tumble Cyclone ground kind of Humvee and its variants, one of which represented the first anti-air ground vehicle to be concepted in-game, the Origin X1 series of stylish ground bikes as well, the Pioneer base building outpost building capital ship thing, it's awesome, but we'll talk about that in a minute. The Anvil Hawk Bounty Hunter / Light Fighter, the Hammerhead Patrol and Gunship, and the Tumbril Nova, the first tracked vehicle and tank to be concepted for Star Citizen. And partly with this in mind, in October they also updated the ship matrix on the website. So this is the set of data on ships, be they flyable in-game, being built or in concept, and a huge host of new components and info was added. But more importantly, it's now updated to the newest known data for ships, and when it changes, it gets changed. The ship pipeline, which is the process of how ships get built from concept to flyable, became significantly more efficient too, as did loads of the other processes that CIG do. They've really built the tools in 2017 for their game. But derelicts were also added to the end of the ship pipeline as the final stage for a ship's completion. They literally take the ship and make modular pieces of it in various damaged states so they can have them existing in the verse as destroyed or wrecked ships for missions or just as little set pieces. Gamescom. So, Star Citizen's presentation in August at Gamescom showed off some of the stuff beyond 3.0's gameplay that we should have in the not too distant future. VoIP, Face over IP. Faceware had been working on VoIP and FOIP, the tech for immersive communication in Star Citizen, and their FOIP tech, their Face over IP tech, allows you to translate your expressions and voice in-game relayed via your avatar. It's a pretty cool idea, to be honest. Anyone that's played social games in VR will know that expressions and gestures make those games. Though FOIP will work with almost any web camera, Faceware are making a best experience camera for that tech. There's also some cool general gameplay that they showed, and a crash as well, which was a little bit of an embarrassment. When they were trying to get to a planet, they did crash and they had to restart the demo. But they showed capital ship battles with two Idrises fighting each other. This was the first time we had seen capital ships in this way multiplayer. CitizenCon and procedural cities. So the CitizenCon presentation in October was probably the best thing they've done. It showcased procedural cities, procedural space stations, although it was just the exterior of them, and the new locations in Stanton, ArcCorp and Hurston, which should hopefully be in our hands relatively soon. The procedural cities in Star Citizen are truly staggering, as everything is viewable and visitable from extreme distances, and they're actually there. The full planets covered in cities, and those cities to be of a high detail is so impressive. They also have the tech for the internals of the cities too, though not everything will be visitable and enterable on a city. They want to focus on high quality vistas and landing zones that make sense for gameplay. They also showed that they want to do long quantum travel times of potentially a few minutes between planets in the same system, and they showed off some of the new biomes and architecture that will be in the game in the future. There was also an event during the day before that presentation in the evening, which was like a real full-on fan fest, but several magnitudes better than we've had previously. During that, they announced a relationship with Intel with the Optane drives, and the Sabre Raven also got unveiled there as well. They also showed the Pioneer, and more importantly, talked about the outpost building mechanics and land claims. You're going to be able to build functional outposts and bases on moons and planets. The Pioneer is going to manufacture these modular outposts from resources that can be bought or gathered via mining, and then in turn, these outposts can be used for storage, mining, gas and moisture extraction, manufacture, comfort, or as bases for many other needs. Land can be surveyed to see what resources are available, and in UE space, you can claim land by using land claim beacons. There was also some pretty cool stuff on procedural animations for character movement, with frames being generated based on the scenery and what your character is trying to negotiate and move around. So he'll do little hops over stones and that sort of stuff, and his legs move in an intelligent way. Squadron 42's RTV special, the holiday livestream in 2017, showed off the progress for Squadron 42 Episode 1, which was in the form of an hour-long vertical slice of gameplay. It showed off interaction and movement in first person on an Idris with crew and equipment getting a briefing, cinematic use of cameras, then launching into space. The improvements to the engine and graphics have been quite significant. The volumetric gas clouds of the coil were something of note. They look spectacular. We saw some space combat, entry to a moon, and moving around the surface of a previously unseen biome and building set. The moon has a brief little atmosphere, so you had FPS gameplay on the ground with NPCs with their helmets off chatting. There was a bit of unpolished first-person shooter combat, admittedly, and there was some more interaction with NPCs. The acting and voice work, however, are very good, but it remains remains unpolished and needs work on performance, animations. That demo was also missing a scanner mechanic, which was semi-vital to show the signposting and how you would detect and move and progress in the game through hints and that sort of stuff. So you'd scan things down and look for them and then move on with that. Otherwise, it was extremely impressive. Now, there was a bit of legal trouble for Star Citizen in 2017 too, with Crytek looking to sue CIG for breach of contract and IP infringement. Crytek asserting that Star Citizen was supposed to exclusively be on the CryEngine, and Squadron 42 should not have been developed using the CryEngine at all, amongst some other complaints. CIG have denied any wrongdoing, referring to the suit as meritless, as well as saying that they haven't used the CryEngine in quite some time, as they've moved over to the Lumberyard Engine. I've got a video looking at that topic in a lot more detail, links below, and I will update it once we have a bit more information. 2017 did see a big drought for gameplay patches for Star Citizen, but also juxtaposed with the release of 3.0, the most important Star Citizen patch to date. This may have contributed in the change to the way CIG will release content in 2018, with those quarterly releases at the end of March, June, September and December, with whatever they've got, and a new website coming with updated roadmaps for Star Citizen's completion, a monthly update on Squadron 42 as well. So please check out my video on what's coming in 2018 for more information on all of that, links below. Now with 3.0 out and those quarterly releases, we should hopefully see a much quicker pace in Star Citizen's development, but we'll have to wait and see. Every month we have a giveaway. For January it's for a Hammerhead gunship or gunboat, donated by our featured org IDF, the Intergalactic Defence Force. They are a lawful org with the focus on trade, security, escorting and teamwork, but they will be dabbling in all areas of the game. Links below if you're interested in checking them out. They are active in 3.0. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning is be subscribed to my YouTube channel and comment on any of my Star Citizen content during the particular month. So do you have any questions about Star Citizen or Squadron 42's development, gameplay mechanics, or suggestions for videos, then check them in the comments below. A special thank you to my Patreons who allow me to create the amount of content I do. If you're interested in becoming one of them, you can find the links to Patreon as well as everything else we've talked about down below too. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help me, and I'll see you in the verse.